themselves chasing candles, moving way too fast. The wisdom worth more than silver and the gold. The disciplined mind worth more than what's inside your palm. Following up a lot harder when I say I had the right resistance. Sparking levels in the chains that kept affecting my decisions. Now they said a cleaner, spirit moving sharper. Every setback became fuel for moving smaller. They panic with the crowd when the headlines hit. I move like no one built it while they left that. Preparation look foolish before the rain arrives. But survivors think different when they fighting to survive. Fast seasons feeling buried underneath the pressure. The seeds gotta die before they multiply forever. That's kingdom mathematics, that's the Lord's own reaper. Patient trader eat, non-emotional trader sleep. Yeah,
it's bigger than trading.
it's about mastering yourself.
Anybody can enter a trade.
You can conquer emotion.
Escape Babylon.
Cycle,
Move with wisdom.
build with faith.
Smart action trading.
They told us chase fast money,
Bad money.
worship greed,
Love for trading.
panic with the crowd,
Modern Babylon.
build on fear.
Distraction and emotional slavery.
But discipline,
Patience.
wisdom,
Wisdom.
that's how you escape the system.
Smart action trading.
Yeah, Jericho walls falling when my faith get louder. Used to trade emotional, now my spirit's stronger. Joshua rebuilding while they doubted every step. Now the pressure build diamonds every time I get tested. Escaping Babylon,
I can live shade of fear.
market full of idols.
I just walk with vision clear.
Planting seeds of silence.
While they chase attention.
Labor bring the harvest when you move with intention. Used to chase every candlelight and move with salvation. Lost inside the noise, trapped in desperation. Babylon system got the masses moving blind. Over leveraged souls getting swallowed by the grind. See the charts became mirrors showing pride and greed. Every red candle exposed what's inside of me. Had to crucify emotion, let discipline to rise. Cause my vans trading kill quicker than the thief at night. Jericho standing tall like impossible resistance. But faith made walls collapse with consistent persistence. Joshua marching even when it made no sense. The patience in the walking when you wait for confirmation. See the weak chase entrance, the wise wait calmly. Person either burst pipes or create kings sharply. Now I move strategic like the shepherd with the stone. David burst the giants every morning at the hope it don't fold. In the wilderness, the promise still ahead. Every loss ain't destruction. Sometimes God rebuild a traitor instead.
Jericho walls follow when my faith get loud. Used to trade emotional, now my spirit's stronger. Joshua rebuilding while they doubted every step. Now the pressure build diamonds every time I get them tested. Escaping Babylon, I can live train to fear. Market full of idols, I just walk a vision kid. Planting seeds of silence, while they chase attention. Labor bring the harvest when you're moving intention.
I seen traders worship poverty like a golden calf. Losing themselves chasing candles, moving way too fast. The wisdom worth more than silver and the gold. The disciplined mind worth more than what's inside your palm. Following up a lot harder when I say I had the right resistance. Sparking levels in the chains that kept affecting my decisions. Now they said a cleaner, spirit moving sharper. Every setback became fuel for moving smaller. They panic with the crowd when the headlines hit. I move like no one built it while they left that. Preparation look foolish before the rain arrives. But survivors think different when they fighting to survive. Fast seasons feeling buried underneath the pressure. The seeds gotta die before they multiply forever. That's kingdom mathematics, that's the Lord's own reaper. Patient trader eat, non-emotional trader sleep. Yeah,
It's bigger than trading.
it's about mastering yourself.
Anybody can enter a trade.
You can conquer emotion.
Escape Babylon.
Cycle,
Move with wisdom.
build with faith.
Smart action trading.
They told us chase fast money,
Bad money.
worship greed,
Love for trading.
panic with the crowd,
Modern Babylon.
you don't fit.
Distraction and emotional slavery.
But discipline,
Patience.
wisdom,
Wisdom.
that's how you escape the system.
Smart action trading.
Yeah. Jericho walls falling when my faith get louder. Used to trade emotional, now my spirit's stronger. Joshua rebuilding while they doubted every step. Now the pressure build diamonds every time I get tested. Escaping Babylon,
I can live chain of fear.
market full of idols.
I just walk with vision clear.
Planting seeds of silence.
While they chase attention.
Labor bring the harvest when you move with intention. Used to chase every candlelight and move of salvation. Lost inside the noise, trapped in desperation. Babylon system got the masses moving blind. Over leveraged souls getting swallowed by the grind. See the charts became mirrors showing pride and greed. Every red candle exposed what's inside of me. Had to crucify emotion, let discipline arise. Cause revenge trading killed quicker than a thief at night. Jericho standing tall like impossible resistance. But faith make walls go after consistent persistence. Joshua marching even when it made no sense. The patience in the rocket when you wait for confirmation. See the weak chase entrance, the wise wait calmly. Mercy either burst pipes or create kings sharply. Now I move strategic like the shepherd with the stone. Gave it burst of giants every morning at the open fold. In the wilderness, the promise still ahead. Every loss ain't destruction. Sometimes God rebuild a traitor instead.
Jericho walls follow when my faith get loud. Used to trade emotional, now my spirit's strong. Joshua rebuilding while they doubted every step. Now the pressure build diamonds every time I get them tested. Escaping Babylon,
I can live chain of fear.
market full of idols.
I just walk with vision clear.
Planting seeds of silence, while they chase attention. Labor bring the harvest when you move with intention.
I seen traders worship poverty like a golden calf. Lose themselves chasing candles, moving way too fast. The wisdom worth more than silver and the gold. The disciplined mind worth more than what's inside your palm. Following up a lot conquer when I say I had the right resistance. Marking levels and the chains that kept us acting my decisions. Now they set a cleaner, spirit moving sharper. Every setback became fuel for moving smaller. They panic with the crowd when the headlines hit. I move like no one building while they left that hit. Preparation look foolish before the rain arrives. But survivors think different when they fighting to survive. Fast seasons feeling buried underneath the pressure. The seeds gotta die before they multiply forever. That's kingdom mathematics, that's the Lord. So reap a patient trader eat, non-emotional trader sleep. Yeah,
It's bigger than trading.
it's about mastering yourself.
Anybody can enter a trade.
You can conquer emotion.
Escape Babylon.
Cycle,
Move with wisdom.
build with faith.
Smart action trading.
The information shared during this live stream is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be considered financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. All trades, ideas, and strategies discussed are my personal opinions and are not recommendations to buy or sell any securities. Trading involves risk, and you should always do your own research and consult with a licensed financial professional before making any investment decisions. You are solely responsible for your own trading results.
Top of the morning, traders, and happy Tuesday, July 14th. And welcome to the most value-packed live trading show where we live trade, break down charts, cover high-impact events, and talk trader mindset. Hope everyone had a wonderful day yesterday and is ready to kick off another opportunity-filled day. If you're a first-time viewer, make sure to like the video, subscribe. We did get some major catalysts this morning. We had the CPI data that came in. Okay, CPI data looks promising for Main Street. Inflation numbers are starting to go down from the consumer standpoint. But for Wall Street, let Wall Street digest the data in whichever way it pleases. First thing is, guys, as traders, the protocol is let the market digest the data. Don't have an inherent bias coming into the day. Start to build your bias as you're collecting more information. All right, so let the market open up. Let's look to take advantage of the best opportunities. We're looking to gab up to open things up. Semiconductors names are leading the way in pre-market. If that continues, keep a close eye on the Qs on IWM. And we'll look to take advantage of the best opportunities. Okay, as you're coming in, guys, make sure to like the video, make sure to subscribe. If you're looking to join us for the delay-free, ad-free stream along with that pre-market prep stream and access to all the resources, the link is pinned up top. Use the code TRIAL30. What happened yesterday, guys, stays in yesterday. What happens today stays in today. Yesterday took 5 trades, all right? Usually I've been looking for 3. So today I'm looking to dial that back in. 4 of the 5 worked in my favor. The one that didn't work in my favor was the Palantir Lotto. All right, so today looking to kind of slow down a little bit and look to take advantage of the best opportunities. We're officially open. Good morning, good morning, good morning, guys. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So shift your attention, shift your focus to semiconductors. All right, shift your focus to semiconductors here. All right, see if they can continue. Can they sustain? Can they sustain? They're pulling back here. This reading, guys, strikers, is in relation to the prior day close. All right. The way I measure it is different. Okay, the way I like to measure where price is, I like to measure it in relation to where it is from an intraday perspective. What's more beneficial is where it is in relation to its daily open, all right, rather than the prior day close. From an intraday perspective, bigger picture, prior day close is a good read. Okay, nice little gap up here. We're officially open. Good morning, good morning, good morning, guys. We fell short of the goal yesterday, 100 likes, so let's make sure to get that today. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So we're trading smack dab in the middle of prior day's range. Smack dab in the middle of prior day's range. So this is the CPI candle, team. This is CPI candle. Okay, we got CPI coming at 8:30. This is CPI's range. Matter of fact, let's do this. Let's do this here. Okay. CPI range. I'm going to make it a little bit light, a little lighter, but just to give you context, that's a CPI range. Okay, that's the CPI range. Okay, if we are looking for a bounce, any of my bounce traders, okay, I'll post that in the Discord. All right. If it starts to dump, there's a potential bounce in that territory. Now, if you have my SAT key level indicator, you'll have that. You'll have that. Okay. Okay, bounce watch. Okay, good morning, good morning, good morning, guys. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Bounce trading is a scalping technique, all right? Basically what you're doing is you're just playing a level as price comes into it. The benefit of bounce trading is, the pros are, you're getting those contracts on the cheap. Meaning, since, especially if you're getting the calls, as they're coming, they're losing value. All right, so if you do get that nice little pop, it's all automatic double digits. So your invalidation marker is price just slicing through that level like it doesn't exist. All right, it can be percentage based, it can be point based. All right, but bounce trading is a very, very effective scalping strategy. We're seeing Nvidia starting to sell off here. Tesla, PMH rejection test in VWAP. Good morning, good morning, good morning, team. We're starting to see TSM fade. TSM's headed towards that pre-market low. Let me know if the audio is better today, guys, on YouTube. I know it was a little low yesterday. SK Hynix continues to push. AMD, see if we can hold about that PMH. MU, okay. All these names that came into PMH and started to reject. We're starting to see Broadcom sell off here as well. XLE falling off a cliff. We did see crude above 80 earlier. Okay, now it's back in that 80 territory. So let's see if we can get back above it, or if it continues to collapse under it. Good morning, good morning, good morning, guys. On YouTube, let's get caught up on the YouTube chat real quick. Give me 1 second. Let me open it up. We're testing that BOG. We officially filled the gap from this morning. Qs are starting to slide to the downside. Qs testing VWAP. SPY slightly below VWAP. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How do you join the free access? Go to smartactiontraining.com and go to the community tab. 2 clicks away, smartactiontraining.com, community tab, Ranto, and then once you get there, click the free tier. Good morning, Fishman. Good morning, and God bless you, George, and your family, health, economy, and followers. In the name of Jesus Christ, may you receive likes from grateful, generous viewers. Amen. Fishman, amen, amen, amen. God bless you too. God bless everyone in the chat. I send you all an army of financial warriors and angels and spiritual fire to protect you from spiritual attack and to lighten your path to financial success. Amen. 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 No, this is not a battle of flesh and blood. We know that. D-Mobile, good morning. Sid, good morning. King, good morning. BT, good morning. Cash, good morning. The market took out with us. It's starting to pull back, right? So pre-market, just think of pre-market as a sometimes kind of like a tease, sometimes as a little bit of a trick, all right? So you don't want to fall in love with pre-market unless you're trading pre-market, all right? Intraday is a different game than pre-market. The danger is a lot of traders start to have a fixed bias based on what takes place pre-market, bring it into intraday activity, and they're unable to adjust. They're unable to adapt. All right, Palantir is going to test that a weekly downside breaker. Okay, so keep a close eye on that retrace reject on Palantir. Amazon lifting. Let's see if Amazon can hold that PML. Nvidia falling off a cliff. Meta showing some signs of strength. Google showing some signs of strength. Google, that 350 hold on Google will be critical. That means it's trying to turn that level into support. And we're seeing Palantir starting to push here. See if we can reclaim it. If it rejects off it, reject back to the downside. I'm not sure why the volume is low. Let me see. Testing. Testing. I know Google Meet is good. How's Discord? No sound on YouTube. How's the sound now? Okay, good now? Okay, good. I'm not sure why it's low. I think I got to go back to my old mic. All right. Old mic was better. Okay. I'm not sure why. Okay, so we're good. We're back up. Good. Is it the same or is it louder than before? I like your team much better. That's hilarious. Let's see if we can hold that daily open on SPY. Okay, we'll get that sorted out. There's nothing I can do right now, but we'll get that sorted out offline. We're starting to see a nice push on semis on the Dow. We're starting to see a nice little push on small caps. C5W can continue to hold above that 50% retrace the weekly. Came into that weekly open. SPY is still within that CPI range. Nvidia falling off a cliff, so I might have to jump in that nosedive on Nvidia. 200 puts. All right, we know Nvidia. It's been a little suspect. Meta showing some promise as well. So Meta, I'm looking at the Nvidia puts here. Meta, if you do go with Meta, make sure to take the Meta. Make sure to get the bid. Okay, don't buy the ask. Okay, make sure to get the bid. Don't buy the ask. Palantir might be going the other way. It's gonna be a very tight range for us today. If SPY comes into play, if small caps come into play, whatever comes into play, I'll be there for it. Meta starting to rock and roll. Google also rocking and rolling. Google calls. Go with the 360s, 355s. Okay, SPY is starting to wake up. What I do like this go around, guys, is it looks like all of the indexes are starting to get on the same page slowly but surely. We're just waiting for the cues. Okay, we're just waiting for the cues here. Okay, louder. Okay, good. All right, what I don't want on YouTube is I don't want you to have your mic, your volume all the way up. All right, adjust it to my stream, and then you get an ad, and it seems like the ad is screaming. All right, look at that, guys. Nice little manipulation there. It pops above that daily open, pushes back lower. All right, so looking at the puts on Nvidia, looking at the puts on Nvidia, potential calls on Google, potential calls on Palantir for an expansion to the upside. If you're waiting for that bounce watch is still on watch, nothing yet. Okay, Qs are starting to fade. Qs are hugging that VWAP, so let's see what takes place there. Palantir to the upside. Okay, it looks like it's reclaiming that territory. Does look appealing. Keep in mind these contracts are 1 DTEs. They're 1 DTEs. So this back and forth is off of that daily open. IWM, if it starts to work itself out, you can look at the 296s, 297s. We're going to need help from the Qs. Just hold that VWAP. We're starting to see the Dow push to the upside. Nice push on IW. Palantir pushing to the upside nicely. So Palantir knocked out the lows. All right, it looks like it wants to reclaim that weekly downside breaker and sweep those lows. And dip bars are stepping in. So IWM 297s, keep a close eye. Or 296s if you like, or 295s if you're in the money. We just need the Qs, okay? We just need the Qs to hold weekly open and that VWAP. If they can do that, that gives us enough room on SPY to start to push the upside. If they can start to rally off of that, I'll give SPY the lift it needs. The reason being, the Dow's already going. Okay? And SPY will have room into that weekly open. All right, SPY, I'm looking at the 753s, 752s. Okay, shockwave time is here. There goes Palantir. Keep a close eye on small caps. So this is expansion setup time, guys. Expansion setup time. We're getting that ripple. See if we get some follow through. So SPY probably needs a company. It probably needs the Dow or the Q starting to rally to get that push. If you did take that break, manage accordingly. Okay, if you take that break, manage accordingly. Okay, there goes Meta, there goes Google, there goes Palantir. Palantir is testing that 200 EMA. And we can get cooperation from the Qs, SPY can start to push. Okay, SPY pulled back in a little bit. Pull back in a little bit. Just drop into it a little bit. Okay, I'd like to take the SPY to the upside. Want that entry as close as possible to that level. I have this BOG as my risk, very close to conservative. So I just want to get those contracts a little bit devalued. IWM, keep a close eye on IWM. Palantir starting to go. Meta starting to go. Okay, I'll take SPY right there. I'm in the calls in SPY. My risk is at conservative. So in this case, see if the Qs can start to push. All right. See if the Qs can start to push a little bit. No, close below here. All right, risk is right there. Qs are starting to fade, which is a little discouraging, but I want them to hold VWAP. Palantir starting to go. Down 7-8% on SPY. There might be a little trap there. Okay, I'm out of there on SPY. So stop that on SPY. All right, try to see if there's some follow through behind it. No follow through, stopped out. All right, so if it breaks below conservative, okay, I take my stop out. I want no parts of it. Okay, because what that means is more than likely this is a trap. Okay, more than likely that's a trap, and I don't want to be in there for too long. All right, so stop me out. So first trade of the day, SPY stopped out. Tesla starting to break down. So now what I'm looking to see is there legitimate interest off this daily open to fuel us back the upside? And we didn't get any cooperation from anyone else. All right, so we didn't get any cooperation from anyone else. What I mean by that is none of the other indexes took out their highs. Okay, none of the other indexes took out their highs. Palantir starting to move nicely. If you took Palantir, manage accordingly. Tesla gave a nice little scalp. SPY, nice little trap, stopped out. No signal via shockwave, just a break. We got Amazon coming into play shortly here. Amazon does have room into that 200 EMA on the hourly. Palantir, if you can come back in Palantir. I could have some interest there. Keeping a close eye on NVIDIA to the downside. We are seeing TSM setting up to the downside. Keep a close eye on TSM. That break is brewing. Everything starts to slide. Same thing as MRVL. If you trade those names, do your due diligence. Palantir pushing. Anyone take Palantir? Anyone take Palantir? Have no fear. Palantir is here. We got Amazon setting up as well. Amazon puts possibly coming into play. When the range is this tight, it's very easy to get stopped out, right? So you don't have a lot of room for you to capture the appreciation. Taking a look at Amazon. Amazon puts here. Amazon starting to slide. Is that daily downside breaker? See if that continue to push the downside. Fail to hold that daily downside breaker. More than likely, we need a push. We need a dump to help Amazon continue to push lower. Okay, so SPY comes back in. This go around on SPY, I want another index to accompany SPY. Okay. SPY can be the one that drives everything higher, but I need someone to accompany SPY to the upside. All right. I want one of these other indexes to take SPY to the dance. All right. Not go on its own. Meta starting to push. Meta again, room to that 662, 64, 663. Palantir is the clear runaway here. Scale out on Palantir. Scale out on Palantir. Didn't get filled on Palantir. Good, good, good. So if you didn't get filled, don't chase. So we're still in CPI range. We're still in CPI range. Okay, so all of them are inside on the 15. All the indexes are inside on the 15 except for SPY. SPY did not got those highs. Make sure to like the video on YouTube, guys. Let's get the likes up. Let's get the likes up. Smash the like button as you're coming in. Okay, if we do about 50 likes per 30 minutes, we can get to 100. We can do the giveaway. Okay, so SPY, second go around. I'll wait for a signal this go around. And we're seeing a nice little push on Palantir. Palantir, guys, a clear outperformer. Palantir, Palantir. Stop out was quick. It was about a 10 to 12% stop out. I don't even think it lasted more than 5 minutes. So Palantir continues to push. Meta continues to push. Okay, can someone else join SPY in this mission to the upside? Small caps headed to the downside. All right, so I can anticipate some conflict here. Some back and forth conflict, so we'll just wait it out. We will just wait it out. And we do have Fed chair testifying at 10 o'clock. Fed chair testifying at 10 o'clock. Let me see if I can find that on YouTube. I'm not sure if there's going to be coverage for that. If there is, we will have that coverage for you. Yep, we have that. 10 o'clock, guys. We'll have that coverage for you. All right, so smash the like button. 10 o'clock. You can sit on your hands until 10 o'clock. So we're just hugging that daily open. We are hugging that daily open. All right, a lot of wicks here. A lot of wicks here. There's turning out to be a lot of wicks in this territory. So there is some demand here. But is it demand enough to drive us past that initial breaker? All right, because what am I pursuing? If I take that break, I'm pursuing this upside. All right, this is the opportunity. Okay. So 10 o'clock quickly approaching. So if you're taking a trade here, unless it's a scalp, you're going to have to factor that into the position. Okay. SPY looking to make another solo trip to those highs. All right, it's on its own. It's on its own. No call signal yet on shockwave. So BRK is just a break. It's indicating a break. It's not a signal. The official signal is call. Call or put. Those are the only signals. Those are the only signals. Okay, just chop, chop, chop. Palantir is the MVP so far. Okay, does it have enough fuel? Does it have enough? It's holding this territory. Buyers are interested there. Is that interest enough? Qs are starting to fade here. All right, so be mindful. Get a little top heavy. Small caps starting to fade here as well. Small caps looking like they're failing to hold that weekly open. If they fail to do so, 50% retrace the day coming up. As they are below VWAP. So SPY's testing VWAP, right, in the VWAP area. Q's testing VWAP. Small caps gave up VWAP. Okay, so they're falling under VWAP. And the Dow is above VWAP. So Palantir, guys. Palantir is a standout out of the individual names. That's a $3 move on Palantir. Okay. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. All right, decided to go with SPY. But Palantir. But if you have the shockwave indicator, it will come to you. All right, so you can see my indicator. Get the break, get the calls. Boom. Your risk, your reward, Palantir. If you caught that, you're basically done for the day. All right, less work for you. Less work for you. Short day at the office. Take the rest of the day off. Nice sweep on Tesla of those lows. Bounce off that quarterly 50% retrace on Tesla. Meta's trying to continue that push. Meta has a little bit of traffic there. Okay, AMD near the lows of the day. MU near the lows of the day. Intel near the lows of the day. Broadcom, nice bounce off the lows of the day. TSM, nice bounce off the lows of the day. Okay, looking to recapture that PML. PML test coming into play on TSM. If you trade TSM, you can be mindful of that. NVIDIA also bouncing off that PML. We got Tesla. Okay, not the cleanest 5-minute chart on Tesla. A lot of back and forth. We got Amazon bouncing off those lows. We got Walmart trying to make a push to the upside. We got Google grinding higher. We got Apple mess. We got Meta trying to make a push to the upside. Those 5-minute candles do have some wicks on top of them, somewhat of a tweezer top. If we can't get above that weekly upside, break it with strength. We got JPM. JPM is not tradable currently. Why? Earnings. We got Microsoft pushing to the upside. Microsoft looks decent. Microsoft looks nice here. Ticker symbol MSFT. MSFT, nice break on MSFT. So Palantir, Microsoft are the clear winners out of our usual suspects during the first half of first shift. So the first 30 minutes of the day. Palantir, Microsoft. So if you believe in those two names to continue to push higher, if you think it's an expansion day, look for continuation patterns. Look for flags. Okay, flags along with key levels, along with some EMAs. Because more than likely, if Palantir and Microsoft are pushing to the upside without the market, if the market starts to push the upside, that's going to give it the fuel it needs to continue to accelerate. In most cases. Okay. A shallow bounce on Microsoft 384.18. Look how clean Microsoft is. All right, so clean in relation to everything else. All right, there isn't things that are too clean, but clean in relation to everything else. Pound, look at Microsoft, boom, calls, scale out. Okay, so Fed chart testifies here shortly. Again, SPY's looking to make that break on its own. Okay, on its own. The probability of it breaking and continuing is on its own unless it lifts everything up. Okay, see if the Qs can join the party this time. It's a little lower as opposed to when everything is there also getting lifted. Okay. Microsoft and Palantir, the clear standouts today. Okay. New 30-minute candle, new 15-minute candle, new hourly candle as well. And let's see. All right, so I'll let you guys know when the Fed chair does start talking. and we'll have that coverage for you. All right, looks like the market's on standby until then. Meta, keep a close eye on Meta to the upside. See if the Qs can join the party to lift SPY up. Okay, nothing very clean, nothing too clean. Pull back on Palantir off that PMH daily 50% retrace come into play. MSFT. Microsoft also continued to accelerate. Microsoft shallow pullback for that bounce into that weekly 50% retrace. Okay, and that daily downside breaker. Okay, so that's shallow, and the healthy, of course, is the initial put trigger and the initial call trigger. All right, so far one trade, SPY, quick stop out. Okay, took it to the upside, got stopped out. I like that stop out. We're seeing a nice drop on small caps here. Small caps starting to go to the downside. See if that can spawn that pullback on those names that are strong. Yeah, the same link I'm using. Jake, thank you for sharing. Yeah, AP is always good. As soon as it kicks off, we will have that coverage for you guys. As soon as it kicks off, we will have that coverage for you. So no need to switch or jump to the AP. We'll have that coverage for you. Okay. Microsoft looking to test that 50% retrace. Down go small caps, down go small caps. Okay, and there go small caps. Did take that manager cord. I'm looking at the 294s and small caps. Okay, nice breakdown on small caps. So they're leading the way to the downside. Microsoft testing that bounce area. All right. If you're a bounce trader, be mindful of that territory dropping in the lower time frame. Nice break on IWM. I'm looking for that retrace, reject per usual. Same setup. Same setup. If you scalped IWM, congratulations. Okay, if you're just in that scalp mode, you're just used to those scalps. You can see, just boom, quick scalp. And that scalp, depending on your entry, could be upwards of 15 to 20%. Okay, depending on your entry, you can see shockwave comes into play. So that's what I'll be looking for. Small caps, retrace, reject. They do have room at that daily 50% retrace. Okay, everything's starting to slide here, right? So that this support couldn't take the weight anymore. All right, think of this as support. All right, it's getting so heavy. All right, the supply is just getting so heavy up here that it put pressure on that support and started to crack. So IWM, I'll keep a close eye on IWM for that retrace reject. Okay, we'll begin shortly. We'll have your coverage team. We will have your coverage, guys. So shenanigans candle, be on the lookout. All sorts of different things, be on the lookout, guys. All right. So this is dangerous territory, dangerous waters we're entering when the Fed chair starts talking. All right. I wouldn't equate this to no buyers there. I wouldn't equate this to FOMC, but it's going to be very choppy, very manipulative activity going on. All right, so I have my eyes on small caps. Microsoft coming back for that retest of that initial call trigger. Coming all the way back. Do you think IBM's announcement this morning about earnings is coming up will affect the other big names with earnings? Yeah, potentially earnings. All right, earnings season's coming up, so earnings do have an impact on those names, but we have something called expected move. So for us as traders, whether it's a beat, whether it's a miss, it doesn't really impact us too much. But if you're looking to trade earnings, the primary thing you're looking to pay attention to is the expected move, right? So in the event that it misses or beats earnings, is it looking to make a move beyond the expected move? All right, a lot of these earnings are already kind of priced in with the expected move, with the contracts being inflated upwards of 100, 200% on the option side. A nice breakdown on small caps. My small IWM Army, congratulations. Again, IWM once again to the rescue. Q is breaking down as well. Okay, Q is breaking down as well. See if there's some fall through behind it. So it just seems like small caps are just the one that can make the independent move. They don't need anyone else. All right? They don't need anything else. They can just make the move. Okay, these big boys, SPY and the Qs and the Dow, they need one another. Think of SPY, Q, and the Dow as these giant cargo ships. Right? For the cargo ships to turn, all right, it takes a long time for them to turn. And think of IWM as a speedboat. Right? You can quickly turn. Right, so you have to be able to trade IWM in that fashion. Right, so typically during earnings, Chris, if you're looking to trade options, all right, the IV is going to be through the roof. The move that's going to take place is already baked in. All right, that's another animal within itself, earnings trading. So IWM came all the way at that 50% retrace the daily, starting to bounce off of it. You're welcome. You're welcome, Chris. Nice bounce off Microsoft off that level. Nvidia looks like it wants to crack down. If Nvidia fails to hold that PML, okay, there might be some cracks in the foundation of that support. There might be some cracks in the foundation of its support. So we're going to have the Fed chair here shortly, guys. Okay, we'll begin shortly. So we'll have that coverage for you live. And we don't know exactly when that's going to be.
The 2008 global financial crisis. Long past that crisis, the Fed
it's official. It's on.
expanded QE with the cost of each
Let me know if the audio is good.
round of QE higher and benefits lower. And while the emergency facilities in QE were resurrected in early 2020 in response to the unknown economic and social ramifications of the COVID-19 pandemic, yet with a clear V-shaped recovery well underway, those facilities and policies were not ended and promptly phased out. The result of these decisions was a Fed that held a quarter of the federal debt in 2022. And though that share has decreased, it still creates incentives for fiscal policymakers to avoid the tough decisions on debt and deficits today and leave the consequences to our kids and grandkids. You've said recently that inflation is a choice. I want to echo this and say that debt and deficits are also a choice. For years, the Congress chooses unrestrained deficits and out-of-control debt and has repeatedly drafted the Fed into being an enabler. Both, in my view, have to stop. Turning to the Fed's regulatory and supervisory policy in the recent past, the Fed has engaged in mission creep, resulting from political capture by certain partisan actors attempting to accomplish policies through the Fed on which they cannot build a consensus and pass through the Congress. From crusades against digital
Okay, we're starting to see NVIDIA push to the downside. We're starting to see everything starting to slide. All right, again, guys, anything can take place here. Okay, so if you're looking to trade this area, navigate accordingly. Maybe size down. Right, do whatever you can to protect yourself. NVIDIA coming for that break.
The Fed needs to avoid repeating the mistakes of the past and reform itself to guard long-term monetary policy independence and restore the reputation of the Fed in an apolitical as an agent carrying out the Congress's statutory directives. I look forward to your testimony today, Mr. Chairman, and I yield back. I now want to recognize our distinguished ranking member of the committee, Mrs. Waters, for 4 minutes for an opening statement.
Thank you, Chairman Hill. Chairman Walsh, you are taking the helm of the Federal Reserve at an important moment. Congress designed the Fed to stand apart from politics so that it can support stable prices, maximum employment, financial stability, and the long-term interest of the American people, and not the personal interests of a president. Today, working families are being crushed by the rising cost of living. They pay more at the grocery store, more at the gas pump, and more for housing than they did a year ago. Just today, the Bipartisan Joint Economic Committee reported that Americans have paid a total of $56.4 billion more in gas since Trump began his endless war with that 1 in 10 Americans skips meals because they simply cannot afford it. Workers are also worried about what artificial intelligence means for their jobs and their financial security. The one common thread of all of this is Trump, whose policies and actions made the economy and the concerns of American people so much worse. His tariffs have driven up costs for consumers and businesses. His attacks on independent financial regulators have undermined confidence in the mission of institutions that have protected the public. His war in the Middle East, which has no end, continues to hurt gas and grocery prices. Despite this pain being felt by American families, there is one family making fistful of money, the first family. The Trump family has earned more than $2 billion since Trump returned to office, primarily from new crypto ventures that Trump's administration is supposed to oversee. Yet instead of addressing these growing conflicts of interest, Republicans are legitimatizing all of them. They blocked all efforts to stop this profiteering when they passed the stablecoin and crypto legislation. Chair Walsh, I understand you have committed to divesting all of your financial assets to avoid conflicts of interest. That should also be the case for the President of the United States of America. Turning to the Federal Reserve, Trump has repeatedly attacked your predecessor, Chairman Jerome Powell, because he refused to kiss the ring and bend monetary policy to the president's demands. His administration continues to try to remove your colleague, Governor Lisa Cook. I hope we hear from you today how exactly you will defend your colleagues and the Federal Reserve. You should also take no comfort in the Supreme Court's shielding the Fed when it overturned Humphrey's executor. The court vastly expanded presidential authority over independent agencies, and it is likely to still come for other functions of the Fed, like bank supervision next. Committee Democrats will continue fighting to protect the independence of the Fed and other agencies, strengthen consumer protections, and build on an economy that prioritizes working families, not the president, the wealthy or the well-connected. So I look forward to your testimony today. I yield back the balance of my time.
The gentlewoman yields back. I now recognize the chair of the Task Force on Monetary Policy, Treasury Market Resilience, and Economic Prosperity, Mr. Lucas of Oklahoma, for a 1-minute opening statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and welcome, Chairman Walsh, to your first hearing as chairman, and congratulations on your confirmation. We look forward to your testimony today on the Monetary Policy Report. In your first meeting, you announced a number of welcome reforms, including establishing 5 task forces that many members are eager to get your thoughts on. For example, former Chair Powell had committed to review some of the Fed's communication tools, and although we expected that to be completed last August, alongside the review of the consensus statement, it is yet to happen. A review of the Fed's communication tools is long overdue, and we look forward to your focus on completing that project through the task force. We also spent time this Congress examining the composition and the size of the Fed's balance sheet, an effort that you are now undertaking at the Fed. It is vital that the Fed get this right. We welcome continued collaboration on that front. And I have a lot to talk about today. I look forward to your testimony and our discussion, and I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Lucas. I recognize the ranking member of the Task Force on Monetary Policy, Treasury Market Resilience, and Economic Prosperity, Mr. Vargas of California, for a 1-minute opening statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Ranking Member Waters for calling this hearing. Further, thank you, Chairman Warsh, for coming before this committee, especially so early on after being confirmed. Public service is a noble undertaking, as you know, so thank you once again for taking it on. We appreciate it. I enjoyed our conversation last week, and as ranking member of the Task Force on Monetary Policy, Treasury Market Resilience, and Economic Prosperity, I will remain vigilant of the actions you take as chairman. The independence of the Federal Reserve is my top concern. No influence from the president or others to raise or lower interest rates whenever they want to. That independence is one of the essential pieces that maintained the strength and reliability of the U.S. monetary policy. I encourage you and the entire Federal Reserve to keep that independence for the betterment of all of us, not just a few. With that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Today we welcome the testimony of the Honorable Kevin Warsh, Chairman of the Federal Reserve Board of Governors. Chairman Warsh, we thank you for taking time to be with us today. You'll be recognized for 5 minutes to give an oral presentation of your written testimony. Without objection, your testimony will
Thank you very much, Chairman Hill, Ranking Member Waters, other members of the committee, good morning. It's a real privilege to join you. At my very first appearance here before this panel, I'm particularly honored to represent my superb colleagues from the Federal Reserve System. In submitting the monetary policy report, as is our obligation and our duty, I think of a long line of central bank chiefs that have appeared in this very room before Congress in keeping with the Federal Reserve Act. One of the largest figures in Federal Reserve history is Alan Greenspan, who passed away about a month ago after a century of life. We at the Fed recall the chairman's strong and steady leadership, his strong hand, in a period of rapid economic change. And today we honor his memory. As a country, we just marked our 250th year. And when Americans count our blessings, we include an economy predicated on the brilliance of our constitutional design and a system of ordered liberty, an economy without equal in all it's done for human flourishing. Some forms of Fed communications, which I've spoken about previously, are discretionary, but not this one, and for good reason. It's a prudent and wisely conceived obligation designed to keep the Fed accountable, responsible, and faithful to its congressional mandate of full employment and price stability. These obligations are of a piece with the Fed's rightful independence in the conduct of monetary policy. Stepping back, I would say today as we sit here, Mr. Chairman, we're at a hinge point in history. It's up to all of us to meet this moment. The task for this generation of policymakers and of individuals and households in the private sector is to ensure that the American economy excels far into the future. Now at the Fed, our number one objective is getting monetary policy right. That's our clear and constant aim, the star we steer by. And if we get policy right, and I can assure you we will, the inflation surge of the last 5 years will be a thing of the past. Just a month ago, I chaired my very first meeting of the FOMC. My colleagues and I recognize that high inflation has been an undue burden on American households and businesses. And while monthly price volatilities and variations are inevitable, especially in an unsettled world, underlying inflation over longer time horizons is determined largely by monetary policy. As the chairman said at the outset, inflation's a choice. The members of our committee have no tolerance for persistently elevated inflation, and we share a resolute commitment to ensure price stability. This was the focus of our June meeting, at which we decided to hold the target range in the Fed funds rate at 3.5 to 3.75%. Now, naturally, our work at the Fed demands a proper reading on economic conditions. As you see in our report, economic activity grew at a solid pace. showing remarkable resilience in the face of recent developments. Household consumption, moderate. Manufacturing output, it moved up steadily this past year. The housing sector, however, gives a somewhat different picture and continues to lag. I want to highlight the most striking feature of this economy right now, and it's business investment. The rapid pace, which appears to be accelerating, reflects in part the construction of data centers and other infrastructure, and the immense demand for AI-related equipment and software. Investment in equipment overall increased about 8% for the year in the first quarter. Within that category, high-tech spending logged an especially impressive growth rate of nearly 25%. At the Fed, we don't yet know fully the extent to which the economy will benefit from AI. Yet it seems inevitable that that which we're now calling AI investment will soon just be called investment. Even so, new opportunities for the economy introduce new challenges for central bankers. We at the Fed are monitoring the implications for employment and for inflation. That brings me briefly, I'll end here so I don't go afoul of the time commitment, to the supply side of the economy, which deserves equal measure of discussion. Productivity growth has been strong, predating gains from AI adoption. America's labor force appears stable. Job creation has in fact kept pace with the workforce. The unemployment rate is low and changed little over the last year. And we've seen relatively few layoffs. In closing, I will say this. I came to my new position as a believer in the very best of the Fed's traditions. I'm heartened by the welcome I've received and by the encouragement of my colleagues in considering how best to advance the conduct of monetary policy. We have a duty to point this institution forward, to take a fresh look at current practices, to make sure we're serving the objectives you gave us, and we're going about it systematically. I've appointed task forces that you've already referenced in 5 key areas to improve the broad conduct of monetary policy. 1, Fed communications. 2, our balance sheet policy. 3, our use of existing data sources. 4th, productivity and jobs in an era of remarkable transformation. And 5, and not least important, the Fed's inflation frameworks. The purpose of this initiative is to equip the Fed to make better decisions in monetary policy and put these years of high inflation behind us. We're starting a new chapter, Mr. Chairman, at the Federal Reserve. In this consequential time for our nation, I can report to you that we at the Fed intend to be fit for purpose and focused on the future. We are the Federal Reserve, Mr. Chairman, and we're determined as ever to fulfill the mission that Congress has given us. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I welcome your questions.
Thank you, Mr. Warsh. We'll now turn to member questions. I'll recognize myself for 5 minutes. As outlined in your statement, inflation is the result of many factors. Of these, the Fed has control only over one: monetary policy, as expressed through its interest rate and balance sheet policy. Today, a potential second surge of inflation is appearing due to factors outside the Fed's control. What the Fed can control is how it reacts. Though upward pressure on prices may diminish on its own, it's not a sure thing. The Fed may be able to look through these inflationary pressures, but the Fed has believed that before and has been wrong. High inflation affects Americans in the here and now, not in some hypothetical future composed of long-term projections or of inflation expectations. Mr. Chairman, I was very encouraged to hear it both in your testimony and your opening FOMC statement about restoring price stability as a top priority for you. When we think about that in the near term, though, how do you and your colleagues on the Open Market Committee plan to accomplish that given the policy tools at your disposal?
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. We want economic growth to be more broad-based, and we want the change in prices, the increase in inflation, to be more limited. There are a lot of things that are happening that are outside of our control, as you mentioned, conflicts overseas and the rest. We can't have and shouldn't have a direct control on that. But inflation's a choice. We monetary policymakers need to choose lower prices, and that's the commitment my colleagues have made. In direct answer to your question, I would say we're doing three things. One, commitment, which you heard at our first FOMC meeting, and I hope you heard today, is we're committed to the Fed to deliver price stability. We're committed to the 2% inflation goal. And so for businesses or households or market participants who came into this saying, well, they said before they were committed, but they seem to have tolerated a higher level of inflation, that commitment is resolute. Second thing that we can do is take ownership. This isn't a time for us to pass the buck, to blame others. The Federal Reserve can and will deliver price stability. We have the tools that you mentioned, both interest rates and balance sheet policy, that can help us achieve that aim. And we have the tools to deliver that. So it's a function of commitment, responsibility, and tools, and we're 3 for 3 and we'll deliver.
Thank you. I referenced in my opening statement about the 2020 decision on tolerating higher inflation and that it's now been abandoned by the board. Clearly, I think that was a policy error. It was praised by some at the time in August of 2020, but I found it alarming at the time it took place. First of all, do you agree with the FOMC's decision to abandon that? And secondly, how do you consider this past 6 years of experience when you look at the task force work on question for looking at inflation?
Yeah, so there's no secret that at the time that the framework in 2020 was announced, the new framework, which was intended to get inflation higher, that at the time and in subsequent years before finding my way into this job, I was very critical of it. That central bank wasn't the first central bank to ask for a little more inflation and end up with a lot more. It was a mistake. The framework did not succeed in its objectives, and I am pleased that before my arrival, that my predecessors took that and cast it aside. All central bankers are going to make some share of mistakes, but when they make a mistake, they've got to call it out. Had that mistake been called out sooner, I don't believe we would have been burdened with this undue tax over the last 5 years. It's nearly the same degree. That's why we are reform-oriented. That's why my colleagues and I are so driven by these task forces to think about them anew. And in final response, I'd just say one of the task forces you mentioned is to revisit the inflation frameworks that the Federal Reserve uses so that we can better understand what will cause inflation to rise and fall and what we can do about it.
Well, thank you. And you also referenced courage in your opening statement, and you've just outlined the toughness of the set of policy choices that you and your fellow governors have. So difficult that your longtime predecessor, Arthur Burns, described that mission as the anguish of central banking to try to cope with the different structures. So in the last seconds I have left, will your task force work review the issue of what you have control over versus what is in the control of the Congress and regulatory and executive branch authority?
Yeah, I'll be brief in my response given the time. There's no anguish in central banking here, Mr. Chairman. We have the commitment, the power, and the responsibility to deliver on the us, and we will. We've got full ability to do it, so you will not hear me blaming anyone else.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My time has expired, and I recognize the ranking member, Mrs. Waters, for questions for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chair Walsh, Section 10 of the Federal Reserve Act states, and I quote, "No member of the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System shall be an officer or director of any bank, banking institution, trust company, or Federal Reserve Bank, or hold stock in any bank, banking institution, or trust company," quote unquote. This prohibition ensures there's no conflict of interest arising from your role in making decisions as a regulator that could lead to your personal profit. Yes or no? Do you think that's a sensible prohibition?
Check your mic, Mr. Chairman.
Excuse me, ranking member. It's the law you've written, and it's the law we will follow.
Let me keep going. Vice Chair Baumann and FDIC Chair Hill testified last year that this prohibition is good public policy as it ensures that bank regulators serve the public's best interests and not their own. Now, unfortunately, President Trump undermined the independence of financial regulators, mandating the White House must now review and approve regulatory rules put forward by banking regulators, including the Fed, except when it comes to monetary policy. And instead of focusing on the job Americans elected him to do, the president grossly profiting off of his position to the extent the president and other executive branch officials now have a say in regulations in the Fed issues. Chair Walsh, should those officials be prohibited from owning any businesses where they have a role in regulating them, whether it is crypto company or bank or anything else? Yes or no?
So, Ranking Member Waters, I don't mean to disappoint you, but we're going to stay in our lane at the Federal Reserve. The more we stay in our lane, the more we stay out of politics. The rules
This is an egregious conflict of interest, and Congress must put an end to it. Now, I want to just show you, in case you haven't had time to look yet, that this is the president's disclosure of his financial interests. This is, how many pages? 900. This is 900 pages of financial interest. When you have time, I want you to go through them so that you'll know and understand exactly what I'm talking about. So let me ask you, do you believe we must put an end to it?
Ranking Member, you've given us a big job. We've begun in 6 short weeks to tackle the big job, and I'm focused on that.
Well, let me just go further with the prediction markets. I'm deeply concerned by the potential for regulators to profit from the use of material non-public information on prediction markets. There's a pattern of insiders appearing to profit ahead of market-moving Trump administration decisions, like when officials with close ties to the administration make trades prior to profiting from the use of material nonprofit information.
Ranking Member, at the end of my very first week on the job, I sent a letter to the 23,000 employees of the Fed, reminding them the best of the Fed's traditions, which is our culture. And included in that culture is integrity. Included in that culture is ensuring that we abide by the law and the very highest standards. That's a commitment that we've made to each other and will make to you.
Well, thank you. Chair Walsh. The president doesn't have the authority.
He can give you an answer in writing, and I'm sure he will do that
want the
in a
public
timely
to
way.
hear.
Thank you so much. The chair recognizes the chair of our Task Force Monetary Policy, Mr. Lucas of Oklahoma. You're recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Mr. Chairman, I want to start off discussing these task forces you've created. Clearly, Chairman Hill's monetary policy task force idea is catching fire as we see this go across the landscape. What do you anticipate the result of the task
What would we do? Are there existing practices we could improve upon? Are there hard questions we could answer? The changes in the economy relevant to that? In terms of disclosure, we're going to make sure that the external independent task forces, which are staffed by some superb Fed staffers, that they get to share their views first with the decision makers. There are going to be 19 of us around the table that are committed to listen to them with an open mind and make decisions. But there's going to be nothing held in secret here. This is a public discussion on these 5, and I'm happy to share the results and the thinking periodically between now and the end of the year, at which point I hope we've got some real conclusions.
Of course, the committee task force is very sensitive on this thing. Let's move to the communications and balance sheet. A concern I raised with your predecessor is the potential for confusion on the purpose of adjustments to the Fed's balance sheet, absent clear and frequent communication. For example, the trading desk announced yesterday it's continuing the $10 billion in bill purchases this period, presumably to maintain ample reserves. I understand not wanting to preempt the work of the Communications Task Force, but can you share your thoughts on balance sheet policy communication? Will you make it clear to the markets when shrinking the balance sheet is intended to tighten monetary policy rather than a deregulatory effort to avoid market distortions?
Yeah, you raise a couple of very good points. First, that some of the boundaries of these task forces will overlap. In some sense, each of the task forces are charged with obligations that are ultimately the FOMC and the Board of Governors. So the Communications Task Force and the Balance Sheet Task Force, there might be some overlap in their work. But let me cut to the chase. The balance sheet policies since the global financial crisis when I last served, the balance sheet regime has changed quite significantly. The size and duration of assets the Fed's holding have changed massively. They changed first in a period of crisis. That was the design of this new balance sheet policy. I don't want to prejudge decisions that this task force makes, but it's no secret of my long-held views, and I'll just state them 3 ways. One is the balance sheet is part of monetary policy. Monetary policy is made both through interest rates and through the balance sheet policies. The balance sheet isn't merely about plumbing. So that's point 1. Second, I want to assure you that if there were a change in balance sheet policy, that we would preview it, explain it, debate it, and no changes in balance sheet policy would happen without good advance notice to the likes of this committee and broadly financial markets. And 3, as we think about balance sheet policy, we at the Federal Reserve have to do, I think, a strong and compelling job to stay clear of fiscal policy. We want to be out of the fiscal policy business, which is between you and the Treasury Secretary and the President, and focus on monetary policy. Those are among the big questions I've asked this group of 3 distinguished leaders to take on, and I look forward to hearing what they have to say about it.
The composition of Treasury purchases continues to trend towards more price-sensitive market participants. The MPR details this trend along with the strong demand and increased liquidity, though we know from experience conditions can worsen quickly in the crisis. How are you thinking about financial stability and the threat of fiscal dominance as Congress fails to get spending under control while the demand for our debt, including the Federal Reserve, continues to change?
So it's an excellent question. As we sit here today, the average duration, that is the average outstanding stock of assets that are held by the Fed and U.S. Treasuries is about 6.5 years. The Treasuries that held in the market are about 4.5 years. I understand in periods of crises, like the 2020 pandemic and the 2008 crisis, central banks by design needing to step into markets to create a fair price. But in more benign times, when our overall holdings are larger than the market, that's something where monetary policy is, in the language of former Chairman Volcker, on the edge of its authority. These are among the questions that this task force will look at.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Gentleman yields back. Chair recognizes the ranking member of the House Small Business Committee, Ms. Velasquez of New York, for 5 minutes.
Right here. Welcome to the committee. I would like to start with a straightforward, simple question. Do you work for Donald Trump? Yes or no?
If I'm permitted to say, we're an independent central bank. We're honored to be independent. Our independence came from you.
Okay, that's enough. Thank you. What steps would you take if the president or others in the administration target you or your fellow governors because he doesn't like how many of them are voting on interest rate policy?
So it's not my intuition to engage in hypotheticals, but I'll tell you this. The Supreme Court said—
That's an easy way out.
The Supreme Court said that the Federal Reserve and the conduct of monetary policy is independent. To the extent there were questions about it, the courts answered those questions.
So what would you do?
I would continue to do my job.
Okay, good. Chair Walsh, do you agree that current monetary policy exists in an extremely polarized and politicized environment?
Outside the four walls of the Federal Reserve, there's no doubt a lot of politics. But my goal inside— do just that. And I think I've demonstrated in my first 6 or 7 weeks in office a commitment to independence and a commitment to reform. Those two are of common importance, and I'm going to deliver on both of them.
I'm glad to hear that.
Thank you.
Chair Walsh, at your first post-AOMC meeting as chair, you were asked how you intend to handle Fed communications going forward. You answered, and I quote, "We made some changes today. I expect more changes to come, and some of those might well be worthy of a press conference." To me, that is not a very definitive standard. Can you commit today to creating a fixed public standard for which FOMC decisions and procedural changes trigger a press conference rather than deciding case by case which ones might be worth it? Yes or no?
So if I can be a slightly longer than yes or no, the last 63 months, maybe 64 months of high inflation above the Fed's objective suggests that it is immediately important to think about reforms, including in communications, and that's what we're going to do. I don't expect any of the changing communications to be about hiding the ball. The purpose of a change in communications is to do one thing right, which is to get monetary policy
I
right.
hear you, but are you instituting any standards that will qualify for a press conference as a worth news for the public and hear us in Congress?
So in a word, yes, and we have a task force that's going to help us think about how to do that and do a better job of getting policy right and making sure that you know what we're doing and why.
Can you give me a single objective or criteria right now on how you will determine whether or not a change at the Fed is significant enough for you to hold a press conference on it?
Mr. Chairman, I'd invite you to answer that question in writing, please, for the gentlewoman from New York. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Sessions.
Okay, guys, we were muted to give you coverage of the FOM, the testimony from the Fed chair. All right, the testimony is still taking place. In the meantime, we did take some trades while you were listening to the testimony. We did take QQQ to the downside, got stopped out on QQQ. Did see a nice little 13% pop. Couldn't get any follow through. Wanted to see if there's a larger move here. Trader 2 type of profile. Stopped out, and then now I'm in Apple for the calls, and that'll be the last trade of the day. All right, so a lot of stop outs today. All the trades have been stop outs. All the trades have been stop outs. Only one that did show some signs of promise was QQQ. That was the only one that showed some signs of promise. So currently in the Apple calls, I can accept some wicks in that area, but no closes. I'm talking about conservative. Okay, so SPY did give shenanigans. Massive push to the upside. Initial bounce there as well. A little sketchy. Didn't want to take that to the upside. Google continues to rip to the upside. We had Palantir continue to push the upside. So Fed chairs continue to testify, guys. So again, anything can take place. We did get some shenanigans back and forth a couple of times. 2 shenanigans candles, one here, one there, and they both turn out to be traps. Okay, they both turn out to be traps. Apple is starting to slide. See, buyers can protect that territory. Conservative, I want no close below conservative as far as the risk is concerned. See if we get a nice little push off of that. SPY is testing that daily open. So look at this. SPY is trading within prior day's range. On top of that, it's trading within pre-market high, pre-market low. At least yesterday, we were getting to the pre-market high, getting to the pre-market low, and having some responses. We have not got to pre-market high, pre-market low yet, guys. All right, so this is the highest form of chop. All right, pre-market low is all the way down here. Pre-market highs all the way up there. Okay, and that's where those two levels are. Okay, that's what those two levels are. Current horse in the race, Apple. Is that conservative? If it continues to dump here, got to close it. See if we can wick back above it. See if those EMAs can hold up. If not, we have to close out on Apple as well. SPY bouncing off that daily open. All right, so a lot of chop, a lot of back and forth, guys. A lot of chop, a lot of back and forth. Oh, my Apple is alert didn't go out. Okay, my alert. See that? See if we can have a nice little wick here on Apple. If not, we'll close it out. SPY just chopping around. Okay, SPY just chopping around, not doing much. So it's doing less than it did yesterday. All right, so less activity than prior day, and we know what kind of day it was yesterday. Okay. If you're waiting for a VWAP test on Apple, that's quickly approaching. So the names, the winners today were PLTR, PLTR. Oh, not there. 1 second. PLTR. Okay, Microsoft. Those are some of the winners. And lately, Google. Okay, and Google as well. Everything else just chopping around, not having much success. Indexes chopping around, SPY chopping around. So just a couple scalps there, scalp opportunities there. Okay. Any shenanigans candles today? I'm not trading until next week. Yeah. So anytime you see shenanigans, it's just A lot of back and forth. Okay, so this is actually a muted day for CPI. All right, so for CPI, it's very, very range bound still. We have this top candle here. We have that upper candle there, and both those are basically fueled by shenanigans. Fueled by shenanigans. Okay. So just a bunch of stop outs for me. Market put my risk management to the test today, and I just respond with by getting stopped out. All right. So if you're green up until this point, stay clean. It is second shift. If we have 100 likes, we'll do the giveaway. I didn't get a chance to check the likes, so make sure to like the video, guys. Let's make sure to like, make sure to subscribe. How many likes do we have here on YouTube? If you're just jumping in for the first time, let us know where you're joining from. Long-time viewers. If you've been watching for 3 or 5 episodes, join our community. First-time viewers, continue to watch. Enjoy the content. All I ask is you subscribe and smash the like button. Look at that candle, hourly candle on SPY here. Basically a doji there on SPY. Doji candle there on SPY. Yeah, so very small position during all the entire summer is a good call. Even on choppy times like this, good call. If there's no expansions, that's a good call. Nvidia's trying to push the upside, so I mean, SPY did give a scalp there, up there, nothing much, guys. So opening right here, that's fueled by shenanigans. I'm not going to count that. Although shenanigans is very difficult to take it before the shenanigans. There's no way to really time it. What further illustrates the kind of condition we're in is we're at that daily open. Okay, we're at that daily open. We have not got the pre-market high, pre-market low. Okay. So I've now got to either one of those levels. And where are we? Let's just zoom out. When in doubt, zoom out. Let's just zoom out just for a second here. Where's SPY? Okay, SPY is testing this rejection zone. All right, very, very sticky. So we came into this in pre-market. We bounced off that 747.36, 748.77. And now we're in this 750.18, 752.41 territory. What kind of candle do we have on the hourly? We have a doji candle on the hourly. All right, so doji, okay, stands for indecision. What's really making up the doji is the high there and the low there on the hourly. Okay, so that's where we are. So very indecisive the last hour. Very indecisive the last hour. See if we can resurface for shockwave. Is everything on the same page? We shall see. All right, so the only position I have currently is Apple. So Apple is going to be my horse in the race. Outside of that, done with everything else. See if SPY can continue to push here and accelerate. That would be favorable for Apple. We got QQQ money. Apple contracts are expiring tomorrow. They're expiring tomorrow. Okay, SPY is trying to get to back the upside. I have a question for you. I had Apple 2-point move and experienced a 2-point move. I made money on the calls and the put. Okay, I have a question for you. Apple had a 2-point move up and experienced a 2-point move down. I made more money on the calls and the puts depending on how you entered, when you entered, depending on your entry, depending on the cost of the contracts. And sometimes there might be the puts the puts or the calls, okay, can give you a better opportunity. Just depending on how much volume, open interest there is as well. To make it an apples to apple comparison, right? You would have to take like a very similar setup with relatively the same type of entry, the same cost of the contracts, the same amount of contracts. All right, let's see if SPY can at least push into the highs of the day, create that separation away from that level. All right, so on the hourly, SPY is not going anywhere anytime soon. Okay, so first shift did present a couple of opportunities across the board. Palantir being one, Microsoft being another, Google being another, and scalps on the major indexes. Okay, let me check how many likes we got. Let's see how many likes we got, guys. If we're at 100 likes, okay, we're going to do a giveaway. Okay. We're at 75 likes, all right? So before 11 o'clock, let's get the likes up. Before 10 o'clock, before 11 o'clock or 11:30, we can get to 150, we'll do the giveaway. All right. So Apple fell below conservative, got all the way to VWAP, couldn't get that close on the 15 below it. What was that? I believe someone the mic was on mute. See if Apple can come back for the rescue. So Apple needs to reclaim that initial entry. If you're waiting for that entry on Apple, that reclaim entry, okay, the call trigger has to get triggered. Okay, you have to hear that alert up here. Okay. SPY slowly grind into the upside. Slow grind on SPY. See if Apple can be on a recovery mission. Back to the upside. Okay. The contract does have a little bit of time. 1 day. Semis are near the mixed bag on the semis. A lot of them are near the lows of the day, bouncing off that PML, below PML, bouncing off those lows, but they're relatively near the lows of the day or at the lows of the day. Outside of SK Hynix. SK Hynix continues to rip the upside. XLE, we got a sector check, lows of the day. We got MAGs approaching the high of the day. We got XLK approaching the highs of the day. For a second time, we have DRAM bouncing off those lows, approaching the daily open. Okay, that's where we are so far. Yeah, indexes has been scalps. I'd say the past 2 weeks is just scalps on the indexes. Okay, Apple needs a break above 315.18. Okay, 315.18, hold that 315. There might be a chance to run up into that level. New 15-minute candle here as well. Inside on the 15, so we can sit through some back and forth here. The quicker it gets to 315, the top of this 315, we'll say 315.50s, the better on the 15. If it gets below all the way down here, then we'll below that 15, we'll be below that VWAP as well. So see if VWAP can lead to that fuel on Apple to push the upside. As far as SPY is concerned, guys, it's scheduled to be an inside day. Scheduled to be an inside day at this particular point. Okay. So who's done for the day? I want to see done for the days in the chat. Question: have you noticed that trading view EMAs be on different levels, same time frame, but multiple charts have slightly different EMA? Yeah. So depending on how the EMA calculation is, some of the different indicators, how they program them, they might be slightly different, even across platforms. If you look at the EMAs between Webull and TradingView, there's a slight difference in the levels. Right. It just depends on how what the EMA programming is. If pre-market is on, if pre-market, post-market are on, if it's just intraday data only. Sent France. Okay, yeah, France is playing today, guys. France versus who's France playing? Who's France playing? France versus. Is it France versus Spain? Yeah, France and Spain, 3 p.m. France versus Spain, 3 p.m. Who guys got? See if Apple can continue to push. We need just some small wins on Apple. Down about 10. Did see drawdown upwards to 35%. Okay, 35%. Today, the way I entered the trades could have been a little better today. Okay, if I had to have one takeaway, I do like the way I managed the risk, but the way I had my entries today could have cleaned that up a little bit. Be careful playing with Netflix. Yep, exactly. Netflix, they reported earnings this week. So again, Netflix IV is going to be through the roof. All right, so you got to be mindful of that. What did the hour look like on Apple? Apple hour is inside, so you can see some more chop. We just need some small victories. And SPY's within the jaws of the shenanigans candle, guys. We know one shenanigans candle is set, and on top of that, we're inside the CPI range. Okay, so let's not forget that. All right, they're going to try to exhaust you as much as possible. Get you frustrated here. Shoot your shot at more times than you want. All right, so just stick to your plan even if things are not going your way. All right, if you shot 5, 10, 15 shots, whatever amount of shots you usually take, maybe it's 2 shots, and those shots don't go in, okay, don't continue to shoot shots, all right? You got to put it to a stop. Okay, if you're getting stopped out, manage your risk. You want to live to fight another day. Remember, you're protecting your weak. You're playing the weak. Okay, Apple shenanigans. Look at that. Okay, look at that, guys. Apple. See if Apple can come back into play. I want to see a hold above that 315.52 on Apple. Only down 5% here on Apple. Look at this, guys. Shenanigans. And where's the shenanigans coming off of? This key level. Apple, I like Apple into the highs of the day. Look at this, guys. Shenanigans candle comes right off the same territory as before. All right, I want to see some follow through on Apple. Hold above that call trigger. Okay. Had to sit through some drama, sit through the back and forth on Apple. All right, so if there's some follow through behind shenanigans, all right, there'll be some legitimacy behind this move, but it's very erratic. It's very dangerous, guys. I don't recommend chasing shenanigans. Okay, so I'll see if Apple can declare victory above that call trigger, get above that daily upside breaker. It did get above it here, all right. I want to see if there's some follow-through legitimacy behind that move. Okay, if you did take Apple, if you're still on Apple, manage accordingly. If you're waiting for Apple to peek its head above that call trigger, all right, You want to see a break at that level. It's coming up here. So you don't have to sit through the back and forth like I did. Okay. The only reason I'm giving it a little bit of time is it has a little bit of time on it. It's a 1 DTE. It's a 1 DTE, and it's starting to grind higher, which I do like. So I can let it grind higher. Okay. You guys saw that shenanigans? Yeah, France. Let's go, France. France. I think it's France's cup to lose. So I need Apple to peak above. Get above right here. Get above that initial call trigger. What do we have there, team? We have that daily upside breaker right there. All right, so my intention is to get this into the highs of the day with a majority and then capture this with runners. Okay. Majority could be anywhere from 15 to 30%, depending on when it gets there. All right, if it closes below VWAP, then I'll get booted. All right, so I wouldn't be this patient if it was a 0. But let's see. NVIDIA's coming into play here as well. NVIDIA, watch out for that double top. SPY. Did it declare victory above that weekly open? We shall see. We shall see. Microsoft making higher highs. SK Hynix looking to knock out that 180, currently at 175. Apple, go. If Apple gets in that weekly upside breaker, it's at all-time highs. Actually, that daily upside breaker on Apple's all-time highs. At 323. Okay, Apple is starting to go. If you did take that, manage accordingly. We did sit through a lot of drama here. Okay. There wasn't a shortage of drama here on Apple. Okay, so up 10. Coming to the highs of the day on Apple. Okay, if you need to move your stop to break even, whatever you need to do, guys, do what you need to do. All right, navigate accordingly. SPY, stay above that weekly open. That would be encouraging. So that target on Apple, get to that 316.16. I want us to stay above that 15-minute candle open. So still giving us some room to pull back. We'll sit through it. A lot of overhead resistance there. So let's see if Apple can start to push with SPYs pushing. So ideally what I want to see on SPYs end, guys, is respect this territory and continue to grind higher into the highs of the day. Okay, if that can take place, that gives Apple the ideal condition it needs to continue to accelerate. Okay. If those contracts can get to 74.75, that would be great. Those were the contract highs of the day. So for them to get to 74.75, the underlying has to make a higher high, not just get to the highs. Okay, so TP if you need to. TP if you need to. SPY, new hourly candle, break above those highs. We get that continued push. Hold above that daily upside breaker on Apple. That would be great. 315.79. We got some overhead resistance here. 15 still bullish. Okay, if we can keep enforcement, meaning stay above this 15-minute candle's highest. If we can keep enforcement, that's promising, but we need SPY to hold this weekly open. We need SPY to treat this as support. If that makes sense, okay? Treat that as support. Gives Apple a chance to get into the highs of the day. So it was basically 12 cents short of getting to the highs of the day. All right, so what I want to see the next 3 minutes, guys, on this 15-minute candle, I want this 15-minute candle to get as close as possible to its high. All right, so I don't want it to get all the way wicked out and then start to be far away from those highs. So now you have to sit through some back and forth for it to get that territory. Okay, so I'll sit through that on AAPL. Small caps testing VWAP. Qs getting that final break. Qs are finally at the highs of the day. Small caps, see if small caps can surface above that VWAP. Peak above it. That'd be great. So the only horse in the race left is Apple, guys, for me. So all trades stopped out. Qs did give it a scalp. Gave a scalp opportunity. I was looking for a little bit more. I was okay opting out, not taking the profit for a little bit more. Apple, see if Apple can get to that 316.16. That'd be great. Hit that target or give me a scale out. We're seeing some selling on the 5 on Apple. 15 is starting to wick. And that'll be the last trade, okay? YouTube, we'll look to wrap it up at 11:30 on YouTube, guys. If you have any questions on YouTube, make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe. Put your questions in the chat. All right. If you're a first-time viewer, we go live every single day at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Strikers, we'll do the end of stream poll here as well shortly. Trend is your friend, 100% SPY. We got those higher lows, higher highs. We need to knock out these highs up there. So Fed chair is still testifying, guys. So Fed chair is still testifying. Tesla. Let's take a look at Tesla. So no modification on Apple. Tesla make a nice little push, scalp on Tesla. Okay, just bang this head on that 200 EMA on the hourly. All right, so you can just scalp it to the upside and aggressively push back lower. All right, so see if Tesla can hold above that pre-market high at that 400 or that 400 cycle level. 400 cycle level hold along with that PMH will be telling for Tesla. Okay. So Apple in the next 9 seconds, I want Apple to close as possible to those highs, right? Because now the distance, the work the bulls have to do in the next 15 minutes is only 36 cents, as opposed to the bears have to push it all the way for 86 cents. All right, so which is more likely? So who has the harder job controlling this candle? All right, so the bulls have a shorter path to knock out those highs than the bears. So let's see if we get that nice little knockout of those highs. 5 minute, if we take out that 5 minute candle low on Apple, we can start to reverse back the downside into that 415.40, 415.20 territory. Okay, so let's see if we get a nice little break. Potential flag off that key level. That would be great. That would be favorable for Apple. Qs are continuing to push, guys. Qs are continuing to push. So it looks like semis are getting picked up here. Qs are starting to push. What is pushing the Qs higher? We got DRAM bouncing off those lows, headed towards the highs of the day. We got the MAGs, okay, approaching the highs of the day. We got XLK at that PMH high of the day. All right, that's what's helping the Qs. And what's holding back SPY is the Dow. All right, the Dow's at VWAP. The Dow's at VWAP. The Dow is at VWAP. Again, guys, make sure to like the video on YouTube. Let's get the likes up. 150 in the next 13 minutes. We'll be eligible for a giveaway. We'll be eligible for a giveaway. So on my side, today is just a day of managing risk. All right, managing risk. That's what it's been. Risk management being put to the test. Apple starting to slide on the 5. So no change in the position on Apple. Okay, I'll see it through. So I wanted to push into the highs of the day, came close. Coming to the jaws of this 5-minute inefficiency between that 315.40 and that 315.20 territory. See if there's any buyers there. SPY failing to hold this weekly open. If SPY gets all the way back into this initial breaker, okay, that might send Apple back to that 9, all right? But ideally, I want to see Apple stay above 315. Okay, stay above 315 on the 15, 315 on the 15. Okay, I'll be inclined to hang on to it. So no change, no partials, no change in the position. And we're still in that CPI range, guys. So no support. Okay, so no support there. NA for the support. All right. So Apple inside on the 15. That's a 15-minute breaker. That's that 315 level. See if Apple can fuel off of that 5-minute inefficiency. This one right here. You can see. All right. It is very top heavy here, so it needs to generate more demand off these lower levels, testing that 9 and see if you get that final break. So I'll let that play out on Apple. I'll let Apple cook. I'll let Tim cook. Okay. I mean, he's no longer the CEO, but it's a nice analogy. Tesla, our friend Tesla. Tesla, okay, gave a scalp to the upside, starting to fall apart there after that 200 EMA rejection. Apple sitting very close to break even here, give or take. So second shift is about to come to an end. So I want to see Apple try to make a move here. Decisive move here. Decisive move. Okay, the high of the day is up here. This, if we get above that 316.05, we're directional on the 15. And we get into that 316.16, that means we knock out the high of the day. That should get us to double digits. Okay. That should get us double digits. Okay, so we need to first overcome this 315.79, which is that daily upside breaker. Second punt of the day on Apple. SPY did make a low here, but that low is higher than this low, so it's a higher low. Now the question becomes, is there an incoming higher high? Apple really struggling at the daily upside breaker. Let's see if we get that nice little push. Okay, guys, any questions on YouTube? Any questions on YouTube, guys? Any questions? Any questions? For that 5-minute candle, I want to see it close above 315.72. How are we doing, strikers? We'll do the end of stream poll here shortly. Oh, we can do it here, actually. Nice flag break on AMD trade wins. Is the IV back to normal on AMD, or you don't mind the IV for the opportunity? All right, so I'm going to end today red, on the red side. Despite whatever Apple does, I mean, unless it just goes all the way to all-time highs, I'll be red on the day. Apple is starting to crack here. I want to see that 315 hold. I can still sit through that. So let us know how you did today, guys. AMD, nice push on AMD, especially on that last stretch. I like that. Flag looks nice on the 5 as well. It has room into that PMH and that 567.21 and that 568.06 territory. Okay, so 315, nice break on AMD, nice call out. 315 on Apple needs to hold. AMD starting to push. Okay, SPY. See, SPY can reclaim this once support level, reclaim it. Okay. 34% on Apple, beautiful. Nvidia, beautiful job, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Good, good, good. All right. So if you're making profits, guys, don't give your profits back. If you're getting stopped out, once you hit your max stop, be done for the day. Okay. Q's continue to push, guys. So semis are starting to, it's actually the Mag 7 that's leading us to the upside. Mag 7 and a couple of semi names. So they're bouncing off those lows. Broadcom is at the highs of the day. SKHY is just ripping to the upside, is at 180. We got AMD, we got MRVL, we got TSM, we got SNDK, we got MU, all bouncing off their relative lows and looking to establish control back. Bulls looking to establish control back above that VWAP on SNDK and TSM. We're above VWAP on AMD. We're testing VWAP on Intel. And we're testing VWAP on our MRVL. Okay. Okay, so SPY. Look at this guy. SPY's within prior day's range. SPY's within pre-market high, pre-market low. And SPY's within CPI range. Okay. So it's not giving us much. It's not giving us much. I want to see Apple successfully hold 315. That'll be the verdict on that will be on the 15-minute time frame itself. See if SPY can get above this once known support territory, back above it, reclaim it. Qs continue to rip to the upside. Qs have some strength. Okay. Any questions on YouTube, guys? Before I wrap it up at 11:30. Any questions? So today we just fell a little short of the 150 like threshold. They're still testifying, guys. Still going back and forth. Okay. Still going back and forth here. Price is moving well on AMD. That's a nice move on AMD. TP hit. Yeah, AMD continues to push. AMD has a little bit of room. It's at that daily open right now. Right, it might be banging its head on some resistance. But it can get above that daily open and that pre-market high. Has room with that weekly upside breaker. Nvidia's starting to go. Nvidia's starting to go as well. We have Palantir looking to retest that weekly 50% retrace. Apple nasty slide. So let this 15-minute candle close. If it closes below view up, I have no choice but to close it. Okay, so did give an opportunity to TP. Was looking for a little bit more, 316.16. $122% on the account today. Beautiful job, Trade Winds. A great way on finding the opportunity. Sometimes it doesn't come knocking, you got to go look for it. Sometimes it doesn't come knocking, you got to go look for it. SPY looking to hold above that weekly open. See if we can continue to push. What else we got breaking? We got Nvidia, the last one to break, so we're outside of shockwave hour. So third shift is officially here, guys. Just all trades, all stop outs on my end. Just a day of managing risk. Going into tomorrow, we'll look to bounce back tomorrow. Taking the same setups. Just didn't work in my favor today. There was a couple opportunities to take profits, but one thing that I could refine a little bit is the way I entered a couple of the trades. Okay, outside of that, that's pretty much all the trading that will be taking place today. So if you have any questions on YouTube, guys, put your questions in the chat. If not, guys, we're going to look to wrap it up here. As always, thank you for tuning in today. Hopefully you found value. Make sure to like the video on your way out. First-time viewers, make sure you subscribe. Long-time viewers, make sure you're subscribed as well. We'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Stay safe, and God bless each one of you.
Jesus is the answer.
When the charge went dark, when the road got narrow, he was there.
Jesus is the answer.
I spent years chasing numbers on a glowing screen, thinking one more win would finally make me complete.
Made me complete.
Burning after green candles like they could save my soul.
Like my soul.
The prophets make a poor God when they're sitting on a throne.
Ooh, yeah.
Build my house on sand,
House on sand.
watch the tide roll in.
Watch the tide roll in.
Learning every earthly
Every
kingdom has an end.
kingdom has an end.
Some valleys look so deep,
So deep.
I couldn't see the light.
Couldn't see the light.
Some storms got so strong,
Souls got so
strong I couldn't win the fight.
Win the fight.
Oh, but every time I thought my story might be done, I felt the hand of mercy say, my child,
keep walking on.
not because I'm worthy,
Not because I'm worried.
not because I'm strong,
Not because I'm strong.
but because the shepherd
Never share.
never leaves his own.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer,
Jesus is the way.
the anchor in the storm when the market starts to sway. Through the highs and lows,
Through the joy and pain.
the cross still stands when
Everything goes fake.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer.
Yesterday and now, the King who walks beside us through every valley found. Yeah, there were nights I sat alone.
Every man.
There fear inside my chest.
So bold.
Questions without answers.
Answers.
Battles without rest. The shadow of death felt close enough to touch.
But Psalm 23.
Kept reminding me to trust. Though I walk through valleys dark as midnight skies, I will fear no evil, for you're right by my side. The rod and the staff, the comfort and grace, the God of resurrection meeting me in that place. I've seen doors swing open that no man could unlock. I've seen peace show up when logic said it could not. I've seen mercy,
Life story I could never write.
turning broken chances into testimony and life.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer,
Jesus is the way.
the anchor in the storm when the
Market's fucked his way.
through the highs and lows,
Through the joy and pain.
the call still stands when
Everything else fades.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer.
Yesterday and now, the King who walks beside us through every valley's found.
If you're tired of running.
If you're carrying change,
If you're searching for purpose.
in success or anything,
The good news is
the
simple.
debt has been paid. Jesus took our place upon the cross that day.
3 days later.
The stone rolled away.
Death lost its victory.
The grave could not stay.
Whoever believes.
Whoever will come
Will find forgiveness in the Father's
I
Son.
still trade, I still work, I still plan and prepare, but my hope is eternal and the outcome is there. Because fortunes rise and fortunes fall,
Christ remains Lord over all.
the market can give,
The market can take.
but eternity rests.
On a different step.
So when the candles flicker,
And uncertainty grows.
I remember the one who's already in control,
The Lamb who was slain.
the King who will reign
The Alpha and Omega.
forever the sun.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer,
Jesus is the way.
the anchor in the storm.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer,
Jesus is the answer.
forever and ever.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the way.
Jesus is the answer.
The answer.
Jesus is the
Jesus is the
answer.
answer. Though I walk through the valley.
You are with me.
Shadows around me.
You are with me.
Through the valley.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer.
Forever and ever.
Amen.
Amen.
Jesus is the answer.
When the charge went dark, when the road got narrow, he was there.
Jesus is the answer.
I spent years chasing numbers on a glowing screen,
Going stream.
thinking one more win would finally make me complete.
Made me complete.
Burning after green candles like they could save my soul.
Like my soul.
The prophets make a poor God when they're sitting on a throne.
Ooh, yeah.
Build my house on sand,
House on
sand. Watch the tide roll in.
Watch the tide roll in.
Learning every earthly
Every
kingdom has an end.
kingdom has an end.
Some valleys look so deep,
Look so deep.
I couldn't see the light.
Couldn't see the light.
Some storms got so strong,
Souls got so
strong I couldn't win the fight.
Win the fight.
Oh, but every time I thought my story might be done, I felt the hand of mercy say, my child, keep
walking on.
not because I'm worthy,
Not because I'm worried.
not because I'm strong,
Not because I'm strong.
but because the shepherd
Never share.
never leaves his own. Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the way.
The anchor in the storm when the market starts to sway. Through the highs and lows,
Through the joy and pain.
the cross still stands when
Everything goes fake.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer.
Yesterday and now, the King who walks beside us through every valley found. Yeah, there were nights I sat alone.
Every man.
There fear inside my chest.
So cold.
Questions without answers.
Answers.
Battles without rest. The shadow of death felt close enough to touch.
But Psalm 23.
Kept reminding me to trust. Though I walk through valleys dark as midnight skies, I will fear no evil, for you're right by my side. The rod and the staff, the comfort and grace, the God of resurrection meeting me in that place. I've seen doors swing open that no man could unlock. I've seen peace show up when logic said it could not. I've seen mercy,
Life story I could never write.
turning broken chances into testimony and life.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the way.
The anchor in the storm when the
Market's about this way.
through the highs and lows.
Through the joy and pain.
The car still stands when
Everything else fades.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer.
Yesterday and now, the King who walks beside us through every valley's found.
If you're tired of running.
If you're carrying change,
If you're searching for purpose.
in success or anything,
The good news is simple.
the debt has been paid. Jesus took our place upon the cross that day.
3 days later.
The stone rolled away.
Death lost its victory.
The grave could not stay.
Whoever believes.
Whoever will come
Will find forgiveness in the Father's
I
Son.
still trade, I still work, I still plan and prepare, but my hope is eternal and the outcome is there. Because fortunes rise and fortunes fall.
Christ remains Lord over all.
The market can give,
The market can take.
but eternity rests.
On a different step.
So when the candles flicker,
And uncertainty grows.
I remember the one who's already in control.
The Lamb who was slain.
The King who will reign
The Alpha and Omega.
forever the sun.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the way.
The anchor in the storm.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer.
Ever and ever.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the way.
Jesus is the answer.
The answer.
Jesus is the
Jesus is the
answer.
answer. Though I walk through the valley.
You are with me.
Shadows around me.
You are with me.
Through the valley.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer.
Forever and ever.
Amen.
Amen.
Jesus is the answer.
When the charge went dark, when the road got narrow, he was there.
Jesus is the answer.
I spent years chasing numbers on a glowing screen,
Going stream.
thinking one more win would finally make me complete.
Made me complete.
Running after green candles like they could save my soul.
Like my soul.
The prophets make a poor God when they're sitting on a throne.
Ooh, yeah.
Build my house on sand,
House on sand.
watch the tide roll in.
Watch the tide roll in.
Learning every earthly
Every king.
kingdom has an end.
Come has an end.
Some valleys look so deep,
So deep.
I couldn't see the light.
Couldn't see the light.
Some storms got so strong,
Souls got so
strong I couldn't win the fight.
Win the fight.
Oh, but every time I thought my story might be done, I felt the hand of mercy say, my child,
keep walking on.
not because I'm worthy,
Not because I'm worried.
not because I'm strong,
Not because I'm strong.
but because the shepherd
Never share.
never leaves his own.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the way.
The anchor in the storm when the market starts to sway. Through the highs and lows,
Through the joy and pain.
the cross still stands when
Everything goes fake.
Jesus were nights I sat alone. Lived fear inside my chest. Questions without answers. Battles without rest. The shadow of death felt close enough to touch.
But Psalm 23
Kept reminding me to trust. So I walk through valleys dark as midnight skies. I will fear no evil, for you're right by my side. The rod and the staff, the comfort and grace. The God of resurrection meeting me in that place. I've seen doors swing open that no man could unlock. I've seen peace show up when logic said it could not. I've seen mercy,
life story I could never write.
turning broken chances into testimony and life.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the way.
The anchor in the storm when the
Market's about to sway.
through the highs and lows.
Through the joy and pain,
The call still stands when
everything else fades.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer.
He's today and now. The King who walks beside us through every valley's found.
If you're tired of running,
If you're carrying change,
if you're searching for purpose,
in success or in fame,
the good news is simple.
the debt has been paid. Jesus took our place upon the cross that day.
3 days later,
The stone rolled away.
death lost its victory.
The grave could not stay.
Whoever believes
Whoever will come
will find forgiveness in the Father's
I
Son.
still trade, I still work, I still plan and prepare, but my hope isn't found in the outcome instead. Because fortunes rise and fortunes fall.
Christ remains Lord over all.
The market can give,
The market can take
but eternity rests.
on a different step.
So when the candles flicker,
And uncertainty grows.
I remember the one who's already in control.
The Lamb who was slain,
The King who will reign
the Alpha and Omega.
forever the same.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the way.
The anchor in the storm.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer.
Forever and ever.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the way.
Jesus is the answer.
The answer.
Jesus is the
Jesus is the
answer.
answer. Though I walk through the valley,
You are with me.
shadows around me.
You are with me.
Through the valley,
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer.
Forever and ever.
Amen.
Amen.
Jesus is the answer.
When the charge went dark, when the road got narrow, he was there.
Jesus is the answer.
I spent years chasing numbers on a glowing screen,
Going stream,
thinking one more win would finally make me complete.
made me complete.
Running after green candles like they could save my soul.
Like my soul.
The prophets make a poor God when they're sitting on a throne. Build my house on sand,
House on sand,
watch the tide roll in,
watch the tide roll in.
learning every earthly
Every king,
kingdom has an end.
come has an end.
Some valleys look so deep,
So deep,
I couldn't see the light.
couldn't see the light.
Some storms got so strong,
Souls got so
strong I couldn't win the fight.
Win the fight.
But every time I thought my story might be done, I felt the hand of mercy say, my child,
keep walking on.
not because I'm worthy,
Not because I'm worried,
not because I'm strong,
not because I'm strong,
but because the shepherd
never share.
never leaves his own.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the way.
The anchor in the storm when the markets start to sway. Through the highs and lows,
Through the joy and pain,
the cross still stands when
everything else fades.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer.
Yesterday and now, the King who walks beside us through every valley found. Yeah, there were nights I sat alone.
Every man,
There's fear inside my chest.
so bold.
Questions without answers.
Answers,
Battles without rest. The shadow of death felt close enough to touch.
but Psalm 23
Kept reminding me to trust. So I walk through valleys dark as midnight skies. I will fear no evil, for you're right by my side. The rod and the staff, the comfort and grace. The God of resurrection meeting me in that place.
I've seen doors swing open that no man could unlock.
I've seen peace show up when logic said it could not. I've seen mercy,
Life story I could never write.
turning broken chances into testimony and life.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the way.
The anchor in the storm when the
Market's about to sway.
through the highs and lows.
Through the joy and pain,
The call still stands when
everything else fades.
Jesus is the answer.
every valley's found.
If you're tired of running,
If you're carrying change,
if you're searching for purpose,
in success or in fame,
the good news is simple.
the debt has been paid. Jesus took our place upon the cross that day.
3 days later,
The stone rolled away.
death lost the victory.
The grave could not stay.
Whoever believes
Whoever will come
will find forgiveness in the Father's
I
Son.
still trade, I still work, I still plan and prepare, but my hope is eternal and the outcome is there. Because fortunes rise and fortunes fall.
Christ remains Lord over all.
The market can give,
The market can take
but eternity rests.
on a different step.
So when the candles flicker,
And uncertainty grows.
I remember the one who's already in control.
The Lamb who was slain,
The King who will reign
the Alpha and Omega.
forever the same.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the way.
The anchor in the storm.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer.
Forever and ever.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the way.
Jesus is the answer.
The answer.
Jesus is the
Jesus is the
answer.
answer. Though I walk through the valley,
You are with me.
shadows around me.
You are with me.
Through the valley,
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer.
Forever and ever.
Amen.
Amen.
Jesus is the answer.
When the charge went dark, when the road got narrow, he was there.
Jesus is the answer.
I spent years chasing numbers on a glowing screen,
Going stream,
thinking one more win would finally make me complete.
made me complete.
Running after green candles like they could save my soul.
Like my soul.
The prophets make a poor God when they're sitting on a throne. Build my house on sand,
House on sand.
watch the tide roll in,
Watch the tide roll in.
learning every earthly
Every king
kingdom has an end.
come has an end.
Some valleys look so deep,
So deep,
I couldn't see the light.
couldn't see the light.
Some storms got so strong,
Souls got so
strong I couldn't win the fight.
Win the fight.
But every time I thought my story might be done, I felt the hand of mercy say, my child, keep.
walking on.
Not because I'm worthy,
Not because I'm worried,
not because I'm strong,
not because I'm strong.
but because the shepherd
Never share.
never leaves his own. Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the way.
The anchor in the storm when the market starts to sway. Through the highs and lows,
Through the joy and pain,
the cross still stands when
everything else fades.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer.
Yesterday and now, the King who walks beside us through every valley found. Yeah, there were nights I sat alone.
Every man
There's fear inside my chest.
so bold.
Questions without answers.
Answers.
Battles without rest. The shadow of death felt close enough to touch.
But Psalm 23.
Kept reminding me to trust. Though I walk through valleys dark as midnight skies, I will fear no evil, for you're right by my side. The rod and the staff, the comfort and grace, the God of resurrection meeting me in that place. I've seen doors swing open that no man could unlock. I've seen peace show up when logic said it could not. I've seen mercy,
Life story I could never write.
turning broken chances into testimony and life.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the way.
The anchor in the storm when the
Market's fucked its way.
through the highs and lows.
Through the joy and pain,
The call still stands when
everything else fades.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer.
Yesterday and now, the King who walks beside us through every valley's found.
If you're tired of running,
If you're carrying change,
if you're searching for purpose,
in success or in fame,
the good news is simple.
the debt has been paid. Jesus took our place upon the cross that day.
3 days later,
The stone rolled away.
death lost the victory.
The grave could not stay.
Whoever believes
Whoever will come
will find forgiveness in the Father's
I
Son.
still trade, I still work, I still plan and prepare, but my hope is eternal and the outcome is there. Because fortunes rise and fortunes fall.
Christ remains Lord over all.
The market can give,
The market can take
but eternity rests.
on a different step.
So when the candles flicker,
And uncertainty grows.
I remember the one who's already in control.
The Lamb who was slain,
The King who will reign
the Alpha and Omega.
forever the
Amen.
Jesus is the answer.
When the charts went dark, when the road got narrow, he was there.
Jesus is the answer.
I spent years chasing numbers on a glowing screen, thinking one more win would finally make me complete. Running after green candles like they could save my soul. The prophets make a poor God when they're sitting on a throne. Build my house on sand, watch the tide roll in. Learning every earthly kingdom has an end. Some valleys look so deep, I couldn't see the light. Some storms got so strong, I couldn't win the fight. But every time I thought my story might be done, I felt the hand of mercy say, my child, keep
Walking on.
not because I'm worthy,
Not because I'm worried.
not because I'm strong,
Not because I'm strong.
but because the shepherd
Never share.
never leaves his own. Jesus is the answer,
Jesus is the way.
the anchor in the storm when the market starts to sway. Through the highs and lows,
Through the joy and pain.
the cross still stands when
Everything goes fake.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer.
Yesterday and now, the King who walks beside us through every valley found. Yeah, there were nights I sat alone,
Every man.
lived fear inside my chest.
So bold.
Questions without answers,
Answers.
battles without rest. The shadow of death felt close enough to touch,
But Psalm 23.
kept reminding me to trust. Though I walk through valleys dark as midnight skies, I will fear no evil, for you're right by my side. The rod and the staff, the comfort and grace, the God of resurrection meeting me in that place. I've seen doors swing open that no man could unlock. I've seen peace show up when logic said it could not. I've seen mercy,
Life story I could never write.
turning broken chances into testimony and life.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer,
Jesus is the way.
the anchor in the storm when the market
Market's about to sway.
through the highs and lows.
Through the joy and pain.
The call still stands when
Everything else fades.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer.
Yesterday and now, the King who walks beside us through every valley's found.
If you're tired of running.
If you're carrying change,
If you're searching for purpose.
in success or in fame,
The good news is simple.
that has been paid. Jesus took our place upon the cross that day.
3 days later.
The stone rolled away.
Death lost the victory.
The grave could not stay.
Whoever believes.
Whoever will come
Will find forgiveness in the Father's
I
Son.
still trade, I still work, I still plan and prepare, but my hope is eternal and the outcome is there. Because fortunes rise and fortunes fall,
Christ remains Lord over all.
the market can give,
The market can take
but eternity rests.
on a different stage.
So when the candles flicker,
And uncertainty grows.
I remember the one who's already in control,
The Lamb who was slain.
the King who will
The
reign
Alpha and Omega.
forever the star.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer,
Jesus is the way.
the anchor in the storm.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer.
Forever and ever.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the way.
Jesus is the answer.
The answer.
Jesus is the
Jesus is the
answer.
answer. Though I walk through the valley.
You are with me.
Shadows around me.
You are with me.
Through the valley.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer.
Forever and ever. Amen.
Jesus is the answer.
When the charts went dark, when the road got narrow, he was there.
Jesus is the answer.
I spent years chasing numbers on a glowing screen, thinking one more win would finally make me complete.
Made me complete.
Running after green candles like they could save my soul.
Like my soul.
The prophets make a poor God when they're sitting on a throne. Build my house on sand,
House on sand.
watch the tide roll.